My name is Crazy Legs. I'm president of Rocksteady Crew. I've been a b-boy since 1977, and I'm from the Boogie Down Bronx. I just happened to see my brother in Africa Islam comparing moves in front of where I used to live in the Bronx. And I just thought they looked foolish. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I thought my brother was making an asshole out of himself by throwing himself on the floor. And then my real introduction to hip hop as what it was before it was called hip hop was in 1977. I went to a jam on Crotona Avenue in the Bronx. My cousin Lenny Len brought me out there, and it was the first time I witnessed anything going on as far as a park jam. People comparing graffiti tags, comparing moves, people dressing fresh, and for the sake of being a part of a scene, which again had no label yet, but you knew who was doing what by the way they represented in terms of what art form they were involved with. When I first started, it was a way to get attention, whether it be from the homeboys on the block because of how you developed your skills, or just getting the attention of the ladies, which I was too shy and had absolutely no game at all. When I first started, the word breakdancing didn't exist. The word breakdancing didn't start coming around until 1982, and that was through media and just people from outside of hip-hop culture that decided to label it whatever they chose they wanted to out of their own convenience. Hip-hop is an octopus. There are many aspects, there are many arms to hip-hop. I don't glorify it to be anything more than what it is. I'm not here to say that, although hip-hop has been a big role in my life, I don't sit around and say, man, I'm gonna pass this on to my son. It's because it's something that I took on because there was nothing else there for me, and it became my alternative form of recreation. The person that fathered hip hop, I would have to give all props to Afrika Bambaataa. Kool Herc may have been the one to plant the seed, but Bambaataa is the one that raised it. He's the one that really saw it for what it was in terms of using it as a tool to uplift and unite people. Myself and Frosty Freeze was standing next to Afrika Bambaataa, and I told Bam, I was like, I always wanted to be in the Zulu Kings. He's like, yeah, okay, yeah, you can keep it alive, it's yours. And he gave me Zulu Kings at the time, and we became the Rocksteady Zulu Kings. First of all, a windmill is upright, not down on the floor, laying not parallel to the ground. That was an evolution of mistakes. Initially, there was a backspin that existed, which was a very slow backspin, and you didn't really spin around much. And there was no planting of your arm in your gut. It was more of like, as you were going into it, you tuck your arm and you drop down to your back, and you try to maintain that circular motion. One day I actually went into it too hard, and I was planted, and it was in a small hallway. When I threw too much power into that movement, I kind of I ended up pulling my arm in, and I spun on my back, and I didn't want my feet to hit the walls. So my leg whipped around without me planning it, and I had to immediately tuck it in. So you have this motion. Then my cousin Lenny Len was like, oh shit, do that again. I was like, oh shit, what? And because of that whipping motion and the planting of the arm, that's what allowed me to stumble upon what I term the whip backspin, because you are whipping your legs. That's why it was called a continuous backspin, which makes more sense than a windmill, because a windmill is upright. Has anyone seen a windmill? Even before Flashdance, If you're not really, if you're looking at television, we had done 2020. We had done, different news programs. As, we were done as news items, but, that gave us commercial opportunities. People saw us performing at the Roxy, and they asked us to be in Flashdance. We had just finished coming off a tour in '83 in Germany. We were out there for several weeks. And we came back, and they heard about Rocksteady, and Harry Belafonte and them asked us, and Lester Wilson, they asked us to come down and audition, and we came down, we tore that shit up, and we got the part. I saw hip hop regress before it evolved. When it sort of faded away in the US and was still going on in places like France, Germany, Japan, you had a lot of European countries that were completely disregarding the fact that it was a dance, and almost completely eliminating top rock, rhythmic top rock, and as well as foundation and footwork, to the point where it became an acrobatic spectacle. I don't think anyone can debate whether it was whether or not Rocksteady were the ones that really made sure that that flavor came back into the b-boy scene. Hip hop on a whole, when it first started, was done by disadvantaged youth coming from dysfunctional homes in a fucked up social economic situation. Now you have some of that, but you also have people that take it on as a hobby, people that get into like a hip hop dance club when they get to college and discover it there, and don't necessarily need it as a form of expression, but happen to have a knack for something that they like within hip hop, and get involved with it. What it is today, it's still hard to describe, because I don't know what it is for everyone. I just see how it's being used by a lot of people. Ideally, I would just like to see a balance. I think everyone that has a voice, whether it's verbal, physical, writing, musically, should have the opportunity to get their point across. If you get into hip hop, get into it because you enjoy it as an art form, you respect it as an art form, and it's something that can really help you. If you can have a dream to make money and be successful as a recording artist, but the lifespan of a recording artist or dancer, a successful dancer, is very short. Don't take hip hop as that's all there is to life, because there's a lot of things that we have going on. Family structure, paying the bills, making sure there's security for your kids in the future. A lot of things that you have to take into consideration. I'm gonna whisper hip hop because no matter how low I whisper it, the shit speaks louder than any other thing that has hit this planet.